Alright, I'm going to be changing the pre-filter on my my HEPA air cleaner. This one's made by Honeywell. It's a 17450. They don't make this exact model anymore, but they make similar ones. The reason I'm going to do this outside is because if you do it indoors, you're going to release a massive amount of particles back into your air, and you don't want to do that. Okay, for this one I just have to unscrew this thing. And I take this cover off. And first, this particular unit has a gas and odor absorbing cartridge called a CPZ filter made of carbon. It's in the center. I'm going to be replacing that too. So that's garbage. And just by pulling this filter out here, you want to do this on a day it's not too windy, because you're going to release a lot of dirt into the air or be downwind from it. Very carefully pull it out. Just by doing this, you're going to be releasing a lot of particles, so you never want to do this indoors. Okay, so there's the dirty filter. This is after 1 year, and that's actually not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. I have a whole bunch of air cleaners going, and that's why it's not that bad. But usually I don't wait until they get that bad. I go a year at the most. So I'm going to carefully take this carbon pre-filter off and try not to get any of it in my face. Okay, after changing the pre-filter outside, I'm going to clean out this air cleaner a little bit as part of my maintenance to it. First thing, I've already done it, but I vacuum out this filter just very gently, kind of like this. I just vacuum around the edges in a little section here, turn it up a bit. I get all the edges, and then I basically just go like this around the pleating, very gently, like that, very gently. And the most important thing with that is don't do that unless you have a good vacuum, like this one here. This is a Meal S5 vacuum with a sealed HEPA filter unit. Because if you vacuum out a filter with a regular vacuum, with an inferior filter or one that leaks, you're going to be you could be pulling microscopic dirt from this filter right through the vacuum bag and through the crappy filter back into your air. So you don't want to do that. If you have one of those permanent type filters, only use one of those if you have a good vacuum, like a good Meal. Or some other vacuums that are pretty good too, and make sure it's sealed. Yeah, and I don't try to get all the dirt out, just get a little bit of the loose stuff. The filter's actually not bad, it's about 2 years old. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a vacuum out inside here. You can see a little bit of dirt kind of gets around here, so vacuum it out. And like I said, if you don't have a good vacuum like this, just use a wet cloth and then rinse the cloth out very well to get all this dirt and clean it up inside. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of air bypass on this filter because where this filter goes right against the plastic bed, it's plastic against plastic, so it's not an airtight seal, so some air does bypass, not too much. Same with the lid here, it's plastic on plastic, so some air does kind of go around the filter. And these filters aren't perfect, they're pretty good, but they're not certified to have the specs, so some of the air does, if it's not totally sealed around here, it'll go around the plating. But I said before that's not critical in a home air cleaner, but it is critical in a vacuum because you are vacuuming a concentrated dust and dirt from the floor and everywhere, so you don't want to be spewing into the air. But any dust that just does miss will hopefully get recirculated, and you know, a lot of it does go through the filter, so it does do a pretty good job. So I'm going to wrap this new carbon filter around, and that's pretty much it, and it's done. And I'm also, this model has a CPZ filter. This is a carbon filter. I got a brand new one here. I'm going to put it inside. It goes right in the middle like that. It absorbs odor, some gases and stuff. These are discontinued, so I have to get them on eBay, or there's companies that make aftermarket ones. But it works not bad. Not as good as those can filters for odor, but it works good. Something else I'm going to mention is this filter is about 2 years old. The life expectancy can vary from 1 to 5 years. And I kind of just judge it on how the filter looks and how much airflow is coming out of it. I have a whole bunch of air cleaners going, so my filters do last longer because I got like 6 air cleaners going. And it's a non-smoking, no-pet apartment. So my filters will last longer than most people. The average person, if you have just one air cleaner in a large house, and you might get only a year, maybe 2 out of it. I push mine to about 5 years because I take good care of them. Like I say, I always pre-filter it. And I don't go by the filter change indicator at all. I just kind of look at it and kind of judge. But in general, I don't go more than 5 years on any filter, no matter what. So after 5 years or so, I change it, whether it needs it or not. And this gas and odor absorbing filter, I change that at least every year, no matter what. Like, it says every 6 months on the box, but like sometimes go a year. But no more than that, because what will happen with gas and odor absorbing carbon cartridges is they can, like a sponge, it can only absorb so much. And after they've absorbed kind of what they can, they'll start basically giving off the gas or odor. So you want to change these, you know, 6 months to a year maximum. Even 6 months I should be doing. It's not like a HEPA filter, which slowly gets clogged. And as it gets clogged, it actually gets more efficient. So it actually traps more particles, but then there's less and less airflow and more air resistance. More air resistance, that means that motor has to start working harder, and it's putting out less air. Like a HEPA filter is not one of those things that you can use till it's 100% done. Like you can't use this filter until it's 100% clogged. Probably somewhere around when it gets to like, you know, 70%, 80% clogged, it's time to throw it out. But it's maintained my filters pretty well, maintained my air cleaners well, and it makes them last longer and does great things for the air. I hope these tips have helped you. Like I said, the most important thing is take these things outside to change them. Even now, you have to handle a HEPA filter very carefully, because trapped in this thing would be billions of microscopic things that I can't see. Even though it looks clean, if I were to drop this or handle it rough, it would release a lot of, you know, potential pollutants back into my air, and that's not what you want to do. It's not why you have an air cleaner. When I've seen people vacuum out the carbon-free filters with a shop vac or something, and that is the worst thing in the world that you can do, because most of that big stuff will get trapped that you can see, but it's the microscopic stuff which is actually the most powerful for your lungs and the hardest for filters to trap. But main thing is take the thing outside like I did, and change your filters when you're supposed to. Like I said, it doesn't always go according to what the manufacturer recommends or what the light comes on there. I just kind of judge for myself. And one last thing, when I feel this filter is getting near the end of its life, probably I don't go more than 5 years ever. On its last filter change, on the last filter change for the pre-filter here, I got a year out of it. As you've seen outside, I got about a year out of it. Most people would not get that long if you have just one air cleaner. You probably get every 3 months. But I got about a year out of the pre-filter. So my last year of using this filter, I'll probably use one more pre-filter on this one, and then after that I won't bother with a pre-filter. Like on the last cycle of using this filter, when it gets dirty again, I'll take it off and I won't bother with a pre-filter for its last year there. And I'll just load it right up with dirt as is and carefully take it outside and throw it out. Because on its last round, there is no point using the pre-filter. You're just wasting your money on a pre-filter when you're using your last round before you throw it out. So I hope these tips help, and if you have any questions or comments or advice for me, just let me know. Alright, I'm going to be changing the pre-filter on my my HEPA air cleaner. This one's made by Honeywell. It's a 17450. They don't make this exact model anymore, but they make similar ones. The reason I'm going to do this outside is because if you do it indoors, you're going to release a massive amount of particles back into your air, and you don't want to do that. Okay, for this one I just have to unscrew this thing, and I take this cover off. And first, this particular unit has a gas and odor absorbing cartridge called a CPZ filter made of carbon. It's in the center. I'm going to be replacing that too. So that's garbage. And just by pulling this filter out here.